Hey, welcome back to part 3. This is going to be over adjustment layers in the Photoshop tutorials for beginners. And I want to show you how we can take an image that's pretty just dry and doesn't have any color and just kind of bland and add some spice and some color into it. So what we're going to be working with today is this image. I'm going to be taking it from this kind of dull, not saturated image into this and just add a bit of color in there just to make it look better, basically. So this will be pretty quick and easy. So let's go ahead and take this off. This is the original image that we're working with, and what I like to do with my adjustment layers is create them and put them into a folder so you can see that I've got them listed here, and if I turn them on you can see the difference to the image so that we can go before and after. You can also go through and see what the different types of effects do for each parts of the image. So let's go ahead and jump in. So I'll disable this one. We're going to take this and add an adjustment layer starting with by using this, or you can go to your adjustments up in the top and do them that way. So the first one that we're going to do, and I'm just going to follow the same order here, is I'm going to add a curves adjustment. So if we go up here, you can see that they're titled up around here, and so the first one we're going to do is add curves. Now when you go in and add multiple ones, these will add another number afterwards, but in this case we're just going to leave it with the default. You can rename it as you'll see here in just a second, but what we want to do with this image is first hold your Alt key and you can drop it down if you'd like to make this adjustment only go onto this layer. If you had multiple layers, it will actually apply to all the layers below unless you add what's called a clipping mask and drop it into there. Now we can go up, and I want to show you a little trick here to shorten the video. You can hold Alt and click on this auto button, and you can do all these different algorithms that Photoshop has. So the first one we're going to do is find dark and light colors. It's actually going to be the only one we're going to do. And what that does is it will fix the white balance in your image. If there's more of one color than the other color, it will fix that. So another tutorial video on that later. But we've got our curves adjustment, so if we take this off and on, you can see that it's kind of brightened it up just a little bit because of the proper white balance. If you turn it off, there's a little bit more of a blue look, and with it on, then you can see that it looks just a little bit better. And that's the way that the adjustment layers work, is the more that you put on a little bit at a time, the better your image typically will look. So let's see what we have next. It's going to be another curves adjustment. Now for that one, that's actually not a second one. It's a blues curves adjustment. So let's go to our adjustment layer, click here so it adds above it, and we're going to click another one. And for this, we can add different values. So see how it gets brighter? This is actually an input. So if we move this over, we're going to be inputting more black. Same here. If we do this, it's going to be adding more white. So what do we want to do with this? Well, we can go up and change certain colors that we want. So for a blue, this is the value in the image. So if we want to take and add, a bit more of one color, we can change that back and forth. So what we want to do on here is, instead of using the curves adjustment, I just wanted to show you that, we're going to go into a hue saturation layer, and we're going to adjust only the blues. Now since we're doing only the blues, I want to rename this to blues. That will help me remember later on what actually was I adjusted. So we'll go to blues, we're going to increase the saturation just a little bit, and then we're going to go to cyans as well and increase the saturation a little bit. That's going to give me a little bit more of a blue sky. So we've got that one on there. That's a pretty easy one. Next, we've got another hue saturation layer, and that's going to be for the main picture and all the other colors in it. So let's go up here and we'll increase the saturation a little bit. Here's where you're going to notice the biggest difference. So you can see the grass is getting a lot greener, and we don't want to do too much. If you take it up too high, you'll notice that it'll just get really, really oversaturated. So let's go up to about 38, and I'll zoom in just a little bit. Look at the difference you can see between the saturation layers. So if that's with it on and that's with it off. So I might even want to take it down just a little bit more. Okay, I've got that one on, and now we're going to add a vibrance layer. Now the vibrance actually does have saturation built into it. If you ever go to this and you can see that you got a vibrance and saturation, so just keep that in mind. So we're going to take it up just a little bit, and what that does is it just gives it a little bit more pop on the image. You might not be able to see the difference, but on your computer you'll definitely see just the little tiny adjustment that it makes it. So let's go ahead and hold shift, click down here, and control G. That will allow us to group them together, and then I can type in adjustment layers, enter. Now if we turn this off, we can see that that's our original image, and that's with the adjustment layers on there. So pretty quick, and once you use these adjustment layers over time, you'll just remember what each one does. If you have any need for wanting to go get some images that you want to just work on and practice this, I would go to Morgue File. That's MORGUE file.com, and basically that's just a repository of images that have not been touched up and they're just out there. That's why it's called Morgue File. So I go in, that's where I pulled this one from, and you can mess with them and make them look even better, and they're commercial free, so you can use them in any of your projects. So all right, well, thanks for finishing up this quick little 3-part series. We've covered image blending in part 2, and the first part we went over the text effects and just some of the layer styles, and then this one we covered up saturation and adjustment layers. So I hope this has been helpful. If there's anything you'd like to learn, a tutorial you'd like me to make, feel free to leave a comment below, and you can also subscribe to the channel to help me get more tutorials out there. So thanks again, and I will see you in the next one.